My name's Kristie.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm in charge of this bitch tonight. Oh yeah, welcome aboard the SS Fun Times Washing Up. Sit back and relax as we take you on a cruising adventure through the past 2 nights of Masterchef, where I have arranged a special treat of making sure George isn't aboard the cruise.
I've
Yay.
never been happier.
I think he got wind that if he came aboard, I'd be throwing him overboard at some point.
This is why we need you to be the captain.
Yes. And not in the fun kind of Goldie Hawn way. All right. So, how you been, Chris?
I've been good.
That's good. We went to a funeral today.
That was... I don't want to say the word fun because it's not a fun thing.
No, but a woman who loved Tim Tams. That's all we need to say.
And we may have got the last part of the benefit of that by the leftover Tim Tams.
Yes, so God rest her soul. But it was a benefit to us all having
Thanks,
Tim
Joan.
Tams.
Anyway.
Anyway, back at the ranch. I'm steering this ship. You just have a cocktail, sit back, unwind on the deck.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Is this cash or is this a card service where we prepay?
Oh no, it's open.
Oh, it's an open bar cruise.
It's an open bar cruise.
No bad can come from this.
No. So everyone, just knock yourselves out. Double fist. Eat up.
Drinks. Double fist drinks.
Or either or. Just do it in the privacy of your beautiful penthouse cabin, because everyone's got penthouse cabins with views of the sea. None of this under the steerage bullshit. We're no
you
fucking...
learned from the Titanic.
I did. We're all above ground. Water. We're all above water.
That's the idea of a ship. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So here we are. All right. Welcome. Okay, Sunday night. Let's get into it. Sunday night, I said George wasn't here, which is wonderful.
It was a great moment for all concerned.
It was. It's just quite pleasant. There was a very positive atmosphere.
They were really happy again.
Exactly. Just Gary and Matt maybe having some quality time that they haven't had in a while.
They yelled out at one point, they're like, we're noticing a bit of a difference. And that was before they did could it be close to grand final week? And everyone on Twitter went, it's because there's no fucking George.
Exactly. So, kicked off with the mystery boxes. Now, everyone jumped out of the car and pretended they hadn't fucking seen each other for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, what is with that? They all get out of the car. Oh, how have you been?
Oh, it's so long since
I love your hair. Why did you keep your hair like that?
I know. What do you have for breakfast?
I get the feeling that was them mucking around and being funny, but there have been previous seasons where it's almost like they have to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Like that. Like they're almost instructed to do that. Pretend you haven't seen each other for a while and chat.
Yeah, Tim got out of the car as a bit of a hey,
ladies, we're here.
Yeah, craziness, just rocking up. Yeah. So I'm reading my notes and my handwriting's not the greatest. So, mystery boxes. Now they're past mystery boxes because we're all about the past tonight.
I was hopeful when they did the back in time challenge in the second one, which we'll get to. That we were going to get remember last year where they had to do the TV dinners? And, I was hoping to be you had to take a 70s classic and redo it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was just make up a memory.
But the mystery boxes started.
The mystery boxes were interesting because they also had to pick the mystery boxes. They picked them by whatever bench they ended up in front of.
Exactly. So, it's a lucky dip there. I don't know how contrived it was, if there was a random kind of throw a box down and then just wander to a bench, or
it felt like it actually felt like it was random. They probably had a bit of an idea that Larissa was going to the back because she always takes the back bench.
Yeah,
but the rest of them moved around a little bit, so you got a bit of movement around there.
You think they'd force them? You couldn't spend too much time at the back. How is it?
You'd want to move people around from time to time. You don't want them all to sort of get comfortable on one bench. You want to move them.
Yeah.
But Bake Off rotates them.
Oh, yeah, you get rotated, and if you're lucky enough, you don't have a season where you're staying next to someone who's the, bad luck eliminator person.
If you're not standing next to Fee Neal in your suite. The one week that Fee had no one next to her, she went home.
Yeah. So everyone got a different box from the previous weeks to show how far they've come.
Which one would you have wanted?
Me, I like the black box. It had Marin. I was down for that.
I was going to say the second...
Right on time. Right on time.
See, I would have wanted... Well done. Good reference. I would have wanted The lolly box.
Just for the lollies to pick at.
Well, one, for the lollies to pick at, but two, as we said when that challenge happened the first time,
Yeah.
I would have wanted that box because I would have just taken the lollies and rather, fuck this whole inspiration thing. I would have fucking melted them down and made something out of them.
Yeah. Like a mecha lolly. Like a Franken lolly. Has the head of a spearmint leaf with the body of a pineapple and legs of a banana. Hands of the teeth lollies.
The head of a killer python with the teeth of a teeth lolly.
The lips of a lip lolly.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a killer python with the fake teeth? That could be real. And a freckle at its freckle. Anyway.
I imagine I'd talk like this and go, smile, everyone.
I like this tonight, by the way. I get to be a bit more blue than normal because Kristie's steering, so I get to make... I get to make those sorts of comments like a killer python with a freckle at its freckle. It's a nice start. Let's go.
So, just steering this, just cruising along here in the beautiful, crystal clear waters of the pork and prawn.
Who are you, Tim, trying to pronounce words?
Yes, I am. Just bringing it home. Let's go through the mystery boxes. All right.
Before we do that, can I just point out I was a bit worried about last night because there was no Vesper until about halfway through.
Yeah, because it only got good halfway through. You don't get the Vesper.
You don't get the Vesper until it's good.
It's good, yeah. So Simon, well, he got the Kraken Queensland box, or as he called it, the Brisbane box.
Or otherwise known as the one he got last time. So was the only one who got the one that he won.
Yes.
Like, nobody else got the one they wanted, and they did spend a lot of time telling us how difficult that box was.
I mean, it was fucking monochrome. That's one thing that was difficult about it. Nothing really was a classic flavour combination because they were just based on things that you crack.
I know that a couple of people, Ben, I'm looking at you on Twitter last night, who said, as the person who cooked with that one, it was possibly the hardest. I still don't necessarily agree.
What do you reckon would have been harder?
I mean, I think what they wanted you to do with the Heston box was horrible. Like what they wanted. I think that the Coles, best-selling box wasn't exactly what you call a great one.
No.
Everyone did fucking confit salmon the first time, so...
So which one would you have preferred to have cooked with then?
I mean, look, I wouldn't have minded that Coles one, but that's only because I wouldn't have been afraid to use the mince like everybody else who cooked with it, who seemed terrified of using mince.
Yes, and I believe it was...
Tardy got that one.
Tardy got that one. No, Anushka did. Anushka got the Coles one.
Anushka got the Coles one, yes.
And it was good to see that she didn't grab the fucking, salmon and...
Well, she went out of her way to say, last time I confied a salmon, and I'm not going to do that this time.
No confit salmon. Yeah, so bloody Tessa, she cracked open that sweet box and wasn't she just delighted?
I've never seen anyone more thrilled in my life than when she picked that. And actually, you know who would have been more thrilled?
Who?
The fucking cleaning staff. Who, again, all they heard the lollies and they're like, oh, Mr. Hart, what a mess.
So, after that beautiful early 90s reference, I really liked that ad. But then I realised just how much of a cunt Pro Hart is. Sorry, I used that word again. Oh, I'm steering. I can't be blue.
Yeah, it's my job to be
professional.
Blue. You're professional tonight, and I'm not.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I can't even edit it out because we don't edit this bullshit.
We don't edit.
Oh,
we don't edit.
All right. So Tess, poor bugger, got the sweet box. But her disappointment was only levelled with Tim's getting the dumpling box.
Oh, far out.
That little rolling pin comes out and Tim's little heart breaks.
That's okay, because the Bramonge threatened to swap at one point.
I know.
Tim and Derek were like, we're going to swap boxes.
No one will notice.
I've got a dowel. I've got a dowel. What am I going to do with a dowel? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say dim sim a lot, even though it's not a dim sim.
It's like a shumai by the looks.
It's not, I mean, dim sim's the wrong term anyway. It's not dim sim's. Anyway, I'm not going through it. Just ask Josh. He was really pissed last night. But it was. I thought that Derek was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I screwed this one up last time, and then he remembered the only thing he screwed up was his sauce. So
he just had to redo it all with a better sauce,
which was just lamb fat.
Yeah, with lemon. Come on, you made a lamb fat vinaigrette.
Oh, and lemon. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, come on, get with the program. Tati. Now, Tati missed a trick because she got Nigella's box. And everyone there's going, I got the sweet box. So I got, I got Heston's box.
Got
Heston box. All Tati needed to do to really make our day was to say, I got Nigella's box, and we would have been hilariously laughing in the aisles.
What am I going to do? I'm going to dive deep into Nigella's box. There was so much opportunity. And instead, she clarified, I have Nigella's mystery box. No, Tati. We're looking for innuendos. If this was Bake Off, you would have sold the innuendo and we would have riffed for another 3.5 hours on this thing.
Mel would have been wandering over talking about how much she loves the flavour of Nigella's box.
She loves to get deep inside Nigella's box. She likes to get your hands in there, have a bit of a rummage around Nigella's box.
Yeah, really get to know Nigella's box well.
Make sure that you know exactly what you're doing with Nigella's box, because Nigella's box is something that needs to be treated with deep respect.
And you don't want to disappoint Nigella's box.
Nobody ever wants to disappoint Nigella's box.
Could you imagine if you actually disappointed Nigella in bed? Just like the look on her face. It would scar you for life. She'd be like, putting her beautiful long robe on to wander out to the pantry to console herself with something delicious.
She'd be wandering out to the fridge to get a stick of butter out to start whatever she's cooking.
Yeah.
Because it always starts with a stick of butter, a full stick of butter.
And be this unsaid thing of like, you just let yourself out. Don't ever call me again.
She would be starting with a full stick of butter. And if she was in Australia, of course, there's only one butter she would be using. That would be Devondale butter. # you ought to be congratulated. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, so Nicole got, what did I write down? First we couldn't work it out. It took a little while, but she got the judge's choice.
They really did avoid talking to Nicole for the first half of the episode. I wonder if her parents and her family have had something to do with that. And like they're now threatening legal action if you keep showing our daughter cooking, of all things.
We took this young girl to China to open her mind.
Well, that was my point. When we get to the memory challenge later on, we see the shot of her and her family.
Yeah.
And as I said at the time on Twitter, I went, look at that. There's a photo of Nicole and her whole family. Here's something you don't know. 17 degrees. All those people.
Just between... At that time.
At that time. At that time. She was about, what, 11? So that would have been 2 degrees, and she didn't get the third one.
She's probably there, doing a piece for her international baccalaureate,
But the problem with that was that, like, they seem to just be avoiding her. So the only thing I can think of is that her family just like never show her cooking.
So she made some fried chicken, which was delightful, I presume, because we didn't ever see it again. We just saw her at the microwave for a bit. There we go.
Yeah, the microwave.
The microwave, we're showing this montage of everyone cooking. Tati's tipping out some mince and...
Cut to microwave and just Nicole, just standing.
I was waiting for the music to drop to go... just the microwave hung. Now, speaking of the music, it was like remix tonight. They really got into the spirit of the party boat, They knew that we were heading out onto the wide Masterchef sea.
Out on the waters here.
Out on the waters, we've got Rick Stein and Maggie Beer partying down in the...
We've just hit international waters. We can gamble.
Yes. Bring out the crap sticks. What
the crap sticks?
What?
Dice.
Dice.
Craps is played with dice.
Okay, bring out the dice.
No. In our game, bring out the crap sticks. Everybody got a crap stick? Let's play. I don't know how we're going to do this, but...
2 up, and it's not even Anzac Day. Ooh, really getting into it.
Oh, come in, spinner. I'm never going to leave crap sticks anyway.
No, but we've got Matt Sinclair down in the boiler room just shoveling coal for us.
Just shoveling shit.
Shoveling shit.
This boat is powered by shit.
No, it's an electric... It's a solar-powered cruise ship. But I've just got him down there shoveling coal because why not?
He thinks it's actually working.
Yeah. All it's doing is just heating up the room he's working in.
Got any ventilation down there? Just making sure.
Well, speaking of Rick Stein, Christina got Rick Stein's box.
I like the comment that she made too when she pointed out that last time I used this I went vegetarian.
Yep.
That was probably a bad call in hindsight, so I don't think I'll do that one again.
No, off to the... Going to use a protein there. Good job, Xtina, as I wrote your name.
Xtina.
Yep. Anushka, well, she got the Cole's choice. Larissa got the black box, and Derek, the everything box. So they're all cooking away.
It was an interesting interesting challenge, and I think what made it really interesting and really fascinating
was when Derek called a lamb strap lamb rack.
Yeah, that was fascinating, but we know that Derek doesn't understand his cuts of meat. Let's look at his use of a ribeye as ribs. But more importantly than all of those things, I think a lot of people on Twitter commented that even though it was random, there were different levels of difficulty in these boxes.
Yep.
So you could quite easily, again, randomly, depending on which box you happen to land on, you could quite easily, conceivably, have been given a much harder task. Like, for example, like Derek had to use everything.
Yep.
Tessa was... At one point, Tessa was talking about minimising all of her flavours, because when last time she used this box, she used too many flavours.
But, you know, then she said she'd be using the raspberry and the pineapple and the spearmint.
She kept going.
And the bananas.
Gary comes over and asks her a question about what are you doing, and she goes, I'm minimising my flavours. I'm only going to use this.
I'm only using 100.
And this. And this. And this. And then I'm going to make this sauce.
Caramelising some bananas.
And it kept going. And you can just see Gary go, stop. That's more flavours than you did the first time when we said that was too many.
But it was interesting, the contrast. So, for me, Tessa and Larissa are at the head of this pack, right?
Yes.
Tessa's natural habitat is savoury. Larissa's natural habitat is sweet. So, tonight they had a reverse. Larissa was using savoury and Tessa was using sweet. Now, they both had similar problems in that Larissa, again, she made 3 fucking sauces.
3 sauces for the one Marin. 3 sauces for every Marin.
And she had Matt and Gary wander over at different times and going, do you really need to be using all those sauces?
I thought the way Matt did it was brilliant. He walks over and he goes, she goes, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and Matt looks at her and goes, why? And she's like, oh, well, I thought that this would go together with this. He's like, what do you mean you thought this would go together with this? Have you tasted it? No. Well, maybe you should taste it. Oh, I'll taste it in a minute. Taste it. And then she tasted it, and he's like, I don't know why you're going with this and this and this. It doesn't make any sense.
And then Gary's wandered over later on and he's gone, now usually you serve a bit of the butter that the Marin's actually cooked in because there's a lot of flavour in there. And Larissa's like, I wasn't even going to use that one. And now she's got 4 fucking sauces on there.
Sauces everywhere.
And he's like, maybe you need to condense that down. And then you just saw this light. Like, it's like ping across their head and you hear Voltron and all the sauces assemble into one.
They all jumped out of their pots and assembled in one bowl.
Just like this anime flashing like behind it as the sauce comes out and transforms and then connects to the butter, and then the butter clicks in and Voltron. I can't remember the Voltron theme. I remember the He-Man theme.
Yeah, well, just sing Voltron to He-Man.
The Voltron.
I had Voltron. I had the original Voltron, and Lion Voltron, not Vehicle Voltron, because it has to be Lion Voltron.
Yeah.
I had all the pieces to Lion Voltron.
So I wanted...
My neighbour over the road had Castle Voltron with the hologram.
God. I had all the Shearer stuff, right?
I also then lost his mask figures in a mud pile.
Now, was it the blue lion that had the female pilot?
I want to say yellow.
Yellow.
I want to say yellow.
Yeah. So I wanted hers, but when we got to the store, they didn't have hers. So I got the black Voltron because I'm like, well, I can't have her. I'm the fucking leader.
Yeah. Well, I had all of them.
Oh, so jealous.
Which was great.
Do you still have them?
No, I don't know where they went.
Oh.
Well, they might be in a box somewhere.
Maybe we can play them. We'll go find them and play them.
They might be in a box somewhere. But yeah, then I went over to my friend over the road who had Castle Voltron, and that was fun. And then we used to play with, like, he had Mask as well, and he had all including the bad guy with the helicopter. He had the helicopter, the big blue helicopter.
Oh my God.
And we lost the main bad guy in a pile of mud next to his house.
So
somewhere still over the road from my parents, where all the cars sort of park on the little mud strip, somewhere down there's a Mask figurine.
Okay, here's my idea. You're a history teacher. We join the Historical Society and set up an archaeological dig.
We do an archaeological dig to find the Mask.
We just need a benefactor.
Figurine. Yeah, we'll find somebody.
A rich benefactor who wants to, like, extract the DNA from the
If you
mask.
want to go to our Patreon.
Okay, now we're talking about steering. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Back on the cruise ship, everyone take your 60th cocktail. And away we go. The onboard entertainment will be starting back up again.
Can I just point out, while you're working out where you're steering to,
Yeah.
can I just point out that I like the way that Derek used the everything box in terms of fuck leaving those Brussels sprouts on the stem.
Yes. Well done, Derek.
He cut them all off the fucking stem.
like,
and what made it
no
even
one needs
better
that.
was
Yep.
Coles not suggesting that they are deliberately targeting these ads. We'd never say that.
Da, da, da.
But after Simon did that, of course, there was a massive run on the stem. I put it on our Instagram. On the stem, Brussels sprouts became a thing, and they were doing them all the ads. Derek cuts them off the stem, and the next ad was loose Brussels sprouts.
Aha! Progression. They're like a K.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Yes, so steering. What's the next port we're calling into? Let's call into the port of Dumpling Tim.
Oh, God.
All right, here's Timbo. Can't get any more ochre than going, I'm going to do a dim sim.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
What is he running? Is he running a fast food bar?
I was expecting him to do a dim sim plus Chico roll.
Chico roll?
Or the spring rolls, like they do. Like Chico rolls, spring rolls with dim sims.
Just nothing but cabbage.
Yeah, and I was expecting him to do one of those mega dim sims that are deep fried and just look like an eyeball that's been rotting for a while.
What he made instead was, as he did last time, pork and prawn.
Yep.
He's fucking pork and fucking pronounce the word pork and prawn.
Yes.
It is not that difficult. Enunciate your words.
Yeah.
You're a teacher's aide. So, but it's...
He says, the last time I made these, they were misshapen and uneven and irregular, and this time...
I'm going to do it again.
Just exactly...
His problem, he said last time, first of all, he lists all the ways that he made them badly.
I made a bisque.
But then says the problem was the bisque. No, the dumplings sucked. But he thought the bisque was the problem. So this time he was going to make a chili oil. And that was going to make the shithouse dumplings better.
See, the thing is, when it comes to dumplings, right, you don't go to your yum cha or anything and get like a plate of dumplings and expect it to have like fancy deep fried fucking prawn heads on it and all this shit. You just want beautiful, equal looking dumplings, like just symmetrical dumplings, all pop down, identical, pop down together that taste amazing. Maybe have a tiny little bit of shallot or something as a garnish, but you just want it to be steaming and inviting. That to me is what would have tempted the judges. But instead, he's trying to like smoke and mirrors them with stuffed prawn heads. Don't look at the dim sim. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. Not the dim sim. This is my eyes.
Don't focus on the dim sim. Focus on my eyes. Focus on the chili oil. Look at the chili oil. Look at the chili oil.
How long does it take to make a chili oil?
Apparently an entire challenge. And even then, they didn't taste them. Thank fuck.
Yeah.
I was sure they were going to taste those fucking dumplings. But even he was there when he was cooking those dumplings going, you know what? I'm not sure they're cooked.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to say.
So let's get down to the tasting, shall we? Whose boxes were tasted tonight? Well, first up was Simon with his crab salad, because before he made a crab salad, now he's just showing how far he's come on his journey, decides to make another crab salad, but this time he's adding nut cream. And look, when you've got crabs, there's nothing better than you want to do is produce some nut cream.
He needed to put that nut cream all over his crab just to make sure that it
didn't spread?
No, you want to bind the crab together, and you don't want the crab to get into too many places.
No.
You want the crab to be localised because you really want the intensity of the crab to be located in one spot only, and not to like dilute and spread everywhere, because that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
So nut cream is a very good way of making sure that you don't get crab spread.
Yeah, and like he pickled his berries as well, his Logan berries.
It's always important to pickle your berries, especially when you've got a nut cream on your crab.
Yeah, now those berries come out, the Logan berry, I don't know. They come out, they look furry, but he just, peeled them off so they're nice and smooth.
They were very
Pickled
smooth. They were like Rob Thomas and Santana. They were smooth. Yesterday was the anniversary of that song, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I like how they're like, look, you don't feel old enough these days, so Facebook has to remind you when everything that was new when you were young is now fucking 30 years old.
It's great. It's wonderful. It makes you feel so much better about life. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm steering.
You're
okay.
steering.
Next port of call. We're going into the Larissa port.
It's okay, I've got a life raft ready if we need it, guys.
Yeah, so if everyone can just, get their boarding passes, I don't know. I know they go off in little boats. I've never been on a cruise myself. That's been more than a 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour?
Yeah. So she brought up her butter poached marron and something...
That's Larissa, yeah.
Something bisque. Anyway, so she brings it up. It looks beautiful. A little bit of... it looks cohesive, looks sophisticated.
It looks very sophisticated, or as I believe they say, sophisticate, which is wrong, but that's what they sometimes say.
Oh, marron bisque. That's what my notes say.
Marron bisque.
So she pours in her bisque and it's got some little blackberries there and the judges eat it and I think we're seeing their rim job faces because here they are just delighting. Now they were impressed.
I don't know where this captain got her credentials from, in all honesty.
Well, they were delighting in Simon's nut cream, but they really went down.
They were really enjoying the creamy texture of her bisque.
Yes.
They got stuck deep into the seafood, and they were big fans of her marron.
Yes.
Like Larissa's marron was just rolling off the tongue. Anyway,
so in they went, and then they talked about the levels of sauces. Now I presume, they only started at the high end. They didn't go from the very bottom, which I presume is like my mum's fucking
chicken
stroganoff sauce.
Yeah.
But apparently, above Heston's sauce, there's Gary's sauce, and Larissa's sauce stood at the Gary sauce.
It did,
So-
and you know what the Gary sauce level is?
What?
He's that guy who, when he's making a burger and he can't choose between tomato and barbecue,
He mixes both.
he mixes them with a little bit of mayonnaise.
Now, I was impressed years ago. I was listening to Hamish and Andy, and this guy suggested that you get all the sauces, was it all the sweet and sour sauces from the different places, and mix them together. So, like McDonald's, Red Rooster, KFC, whoever has the fucking sauce, mix them together to make the ultimate nugget dipping sauce. Yeah, and I feel that's what Larissa did tonight. Except instead of nuggets, it's marron.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a slightly different concept of dunking marron instead of dunking nuggets.
And it's not like you can go somewhere and get a 24 box of marron.
It's slightly more expensive, but we'll come
No
to
$9.95 deals.
It's slightly more expensive, but we'll come to a slightly more expensive meal in a little bit, won't we, Simon? Anyway, and there was a third person tasted. And it was one that we didn't expect because we were all expecting them.
I thought Tessa was going to get up because I thought her little dish looked beautiful.
So they mentioned at the start, though, that they've tasted Tessa's more than anyone else, and I kind of figured they were going to avoid her at all costs.
Which is a shame.
Whereas I was sure they were going to give Tim a taste because I was sure they were desperate for those to actually be good.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it looked like he'd made them raw again. So because they were raw again, they weren't going back to him.
Tim's a raw again.
Which left
His broken prawn a raw again.
It left one weird option.
Derek.
Zoolander himself.
All right, so with his lamb backstrap or...
So I've got my lamb.
Lamb rack or...
What even is...
Lamb shoulder.
What even is a lamb
leg.
backstrap? I mean, it's like... I don't even know what it is, but it's beautiful.
So he had some lamb. He did some Brussels sprouts.
I've got the Brussels sprouts.
Parsnip chips.
And I've got sauce, and my sauce has got...
cooked in lamb.
Lamb fat.
With lemon.
I've got lamb fat. It's a different sauce. Who would have known that lamb fat is good? Because my lamb fat... Sorry, Gary. Lamb fat is great, and I'm glad my lamb... I'm cooking my Brussels sprouts. What do you mean I'm on the gantry?
Like the lamb fat laugh along. So, yeah, he brings it up and he's cooked his parsnip chips in lamb fat. And
I made parsnip with lamb.
and he really got the guns going when he was making his puree with the cream. I've added cream and what else he had? Fucking something else to the fucking butter or something to the fucking
sure, why not?
Puree, because we go.
He worked out what he fucked up last time and didn't do the same thing.
Yeah, so he produced a brilliant dish. I didn't think it was going to beat Larissa's because, Larissa's had fucking stuff in it that was nice. But here we are.
But the interesting part was when he got up to the gantry. Act like you've been there before, bro. Because Derek
skipping along.
He couldn't quite cope with being the only person on the gantry. At one point, he's like, I felt lonely up here. And he was running around like a madman.
He looks like one of those white women on Ellen that get called up to play one of her games.
Yeah. It reminded me, okay, so wrestling fans. Only wrestling fans will get this, so Kristie can tune out. 1980s wrestling fans, 1980s, early 1990s wrestling fans, the Ultimate Warrior, he'd run down to ringside at 100 mile an hour and then run around the ring. And he'd wear himself out before his matches, so it was a bit pointless. Derek running up and down the gantry was a little bit like the Ultimate Warrior, tearing back and forward before a match. Absolutely pointless, lots of energy, lots of movement, lots of motion, no purpose. None whatsoever. And in the middle of it, he'd stop and giggle. Like, I can't believe I'm on the gantry.
So either Derek's losing his mind or he's a massive wrestling fan.
One or the other, and I'd like to think that it was a wrestling fan, and what we didn't get to see was he got up onto the railing and did a massive Macho Man Randy Savage elbow just off the top.
Straight into,
It's one of the reasons why Tati was in elimination, was she got a fucking elbow drop off the gantry from Derek and couldn't recover in
mushroom
time.
noodles.
But they decided that they couldn't actually show that because it might be brutality, so they just went, it didn't happen.
Now, I was quite excited by this next challenge because they said, "I want you to pick a space in time, I can't remember exactly what it was.
A moment.
A moment in time. Dish inspired by a moment in time. So
Kennedy assassination. I want monkey's brains.
And it's Texas, so you can have a barbecue flavour.
I want monkey's brains.
Yeah.
And I want it with, it's going to sound weird, but monkey's brains with a raspberry coulis. just off the back.
Some pink fairy floss.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left. That could be a great moment in time dish. What else could? Yeah.
I'm thinking the 2000 Olympics.
Oh, that could be great.
Set it on fire like Kathy Freeman.
I set it on fire like the games version of the closing ceremony. With the women from the CWA blowing up the office. Have we got that thing booked in yet? That grand final's a cracker.
Other moments in time.
That could be fun. Other moments in time that we could possibly go with. I mean, the Normandy landings could possibly be told in chocolate bullet form.
Yeah. What about humans leaving Africa? What's it called? The gates of they crossed out of Africa.
The out of Africa theory. Yes.
Yeah. Just
that could easily be told with jelly.
A lot of seafood because they're crossing in the sea and
no. Jelly and Tim Tams. Tim Tams to the boats.
Oh my God, love it. Rafting. Just rafting away.
Whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
You could also what else could you do out of that?
What about Crystal Palace? Just like the fucking a great exhibition of the early 1900s, just Victoria area.
You could do the lot of it in
the
gelatin.
World's Fair, yeah.
A lot of it in gelatin. A large gelatin Crystal Palace.
Yes, with toffee shards around it, to really refract the light.
The coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, as told in Brussels sprout form.
Yes, the uprising in India.
That could be great. Salt.
Salt.
It could be done in salt to honour Gandhi.
Yes.
That could be perfect.
Yeah.
There were so many options they could have gone with.
But no, everyone was selfish and went personal. There are so many massacres you could honour. There are so many, great historical speeches, I Have a Dream. Where's your Martin Luther King? Oh, no. Apparently, people's first dates are popular. Tati took us on her first date. Fucking Christina took us on her first date.
Simon took us through lack of furniture. We're going to get into Simon's
dates.
One in a minute.
Dates are big.
Oh, Simon, let's get into fucking... I know you're steering. Let's just go straight to Simon.
That's all right. You have a Kristie moment. You go. No, I need to talk about this. Okay.
Yeah, Simon.
All right, Simon.
Oh, my moment in time is a memory of actually talking to my girlfriend. So, obviously that then gives off those stalkerish vibes we were talking about and the idea that maybe she was an unwilling prisoner to this originally.
But we had a flashback and she was there.
I know. And
it looked willing, although the bean feeding, it kind of she was eating it and he's looking at her do you like my bean? She's like, oh yes, it's delicious, it's a bean.
So what was really concerning about that
must have been that bean she ate.
Well, it must have been that bean she ate. What was really concerning about that moment was... he was talking about the idea of our first place we got together. And I wasn't sure if they were talking about renting it or if they actually fucking laid down money and bought the thing. But then they had no furniture, so they couldn't afford furniture, and they couldn't afford food. So what do you do when you can't afford food? Well, university students everywhere will tell you ramen or mee goreng, or 2-minute noodles.
Or you find a pub that does free hot dogs at a certain time.
Or you find any of the Black Thunders driving around.
Or
and
Mum, what are you doing tonight? I'll just pop over.
I'm just going to pop in. Look, anyway, I'll take some food. No. What Simon did was what any young, impoverished person would do. Fucking mussels.
And asparagus.
The cheapest mussels you can find, I'll have you know.
I just want to know, is this tinned mussels and tinned asparagus? Because if it was that, I'd believe it. You know, like
I'd believe it, but I wouldn't believe their relationship was still going.
Sex could not happen for the next week and a half.
I wouldn't believe that any other food could happen for the next month. Just imagine the stench of urine, tinned asparagus, and tinned mussels.
Where is the cheapest mussels imagining? Like, I'm just
They're
thinking...
off. They have to be off. I'm going to look them up.
I'm just thinking...
You steer. I'm going to look them up.
All right, so I'm thinking, that they've gone to, I don't know, like one of the bad, terrible malls in a terrible place that has a... Like, it's in the middle of nowhere near the sea, and there's a seafood shop that no one buys at, so you're sure it's a drug front. And they've gone to buy the mussels there because they're like, $5 a kilo. And, like, those mussels are probably, like, being frozen 6 times over. So I'm not too sure.
All right, so
what's been happening.
So you can buy the I won't go to Woolworths because they're not a sponsor of MasterChef. I'll find a Coles one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can buy you can get a smoked mussels in oil for $1.70, but that looks like there's like 4 of them, so that wouldn't be enough for the dish he was talking about. That is a Woolworths one, but I'll do it anyway. It's the home brand mussels smoked for $1.54, which does feel a bit like a Simon thing because after all, he fucking smoked them again, didn't he? and I'm staggered by the idea. No, who is buying them?
I just want to know who are eating them, like tinned oysters as well. Like it should have told me something because I think it was my ex-husband that liked those. He also liked roll mops. Why did I stay married that long to him?
I don't know. Anyway, mussels.
Upgraded.
Mussels. I'm sorry, but mussels and asparagus doesn't scream romance.
You know what's really nice?
What?
Fresh mussels, right? Out of the shell, wrapped in some bacon, done on the barbecue till the mussels turn orange. Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
Angels on horseback.
What's that?
Well, angels on horseback and devils on horseback.
What's that?
So it's with prawns and bacon and mussels and bacon.
So the devil's on horseback, are you liking, like, is it like deviled eggs and you have to do the full ritual?
Yeah, you have to. You have to, like, yeah.
Do you think that's another dish Simon would do? Because he did the deviled eggs, so I'm presuming he's just a Satanist cook.
Yeah, I would assume that's what it is. So
welcome to Satan Shift.
So devils on horseback is the prunes, which no, I wouldn't do that. Or you can do it with other bits and pieces as well. I've seen different versions of them, but dates or prunes for devils. Angels on horseback is prawns.
That's all right.
I'll do that.
Yeah. That sounds good.
So Simon had the fucking mussels and asparagus was his moment in time, which seems a bit disappointing.
Yeah, so I was relieved to see that Georgia does look real. She doesn't look like she's kidnapped, so good on them.
Look, Simon, I'll give you a lot of credit. You've defied all odds.
Yeah.
Blink, please.
Yeah.
Please.
At some point.
Please.
Now,
I feel like Doctor Who for a minute. Just blink.
Moving from that awkward date onto, I think, a really thoughtful date, and that's Christina and her husband's first date, which is to a Thai cooking class, which I think is very sweet and very thoughtful. Because he's like, let's do something together.
Are you just saying this because you love Thai food and you really want me to take you to a Thai cooking class?
Look, I'm just saying that this is a really lovely, thoughtful thing and I'm glad that they end up married and that they like love. And as she said, he's a fussy eater. So for him to go out of his way to organise the cooking class, I think is very nice.
I order you menu log Thai a lot.
Yeah, as one should.
Thank you.
That's
putting
all right.
that out.
No. Oh, God, okay. I'm trying to, get away from Simon bashing, all right? But
we're not bashing Simon. We're worried about the idea that he thinks a romantic date involves mussels and asparagus. But anyway.
All right, so she made love, which is nice.
We made love in a... anyway.
Found love in a Thai
place. By the way, Mama Joe's love you long time. Do it.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the third date, and that's Tati, who took her husband to what's it called, a street vendor for some mushroom noodles.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that looked very sweet.
And that was going to go quite well, again, until Derek elbow dropped her off the entry, and that ended Tati's night.
Yeah, it didn't really go well. Now, Larissa. Ding, 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 ding. Peaches come in a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown. If I had my little way, I'd eat peaches every day. Okay, so I couldn't remember the beginning of that song.
That's enough.
And that's enough. But
Moving
I did.
to
Peaches
the country,
gonna eat a lot of peaches.
Moving to the city, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
So Larissa grew up on a peach farm
Oh.
with her grandparents. And they were scallywags and would eat peaches before they were ripe.
Scrumping.
And it's
So
scrumping.
much scrumping.
I wonder if they also
Fruit larceny, as Bill Bailey calls it.
I also hope her granddad had a still and was making peach kernel schnapps.
God, I hope so.
Like, just
and I hope it
fucking-
was illegal, and I hope he was doing it through bowling balls.
She can't sound like a hillbilly peach family. Like this Lebanese hillbilly peach family.
taking like a 1950s pickup and like rallying it across dirt and like running with like banjo music playing, like with the police chasing them, playing the banjo music on the radio.
Yep.
And it was one of those situations of stop the music, and they turned the music off and the cops stopped chasing them.
And instead of having like the general
Lee, yeah.
they have the Lebanese flag on the top of the painted on top of the car.
Plays the Lebanese national anthem.
Yeah. The Dukes of Beirut.
The Dukes of Beirut.
So I loved it. It was simple and it was evocative, and I love that about Larissa. You know, just peaches and peaches.
I want to ask you about. I want to ask you about Anushka's.
Yes.
Now, I kind of get what she was going for.
Yeah, like Christmas.
It looked like, and this is what I want to find out.
She said it takes hours to prepare.
So
but she's
why
gonna
not try to
do
do it in a really small amount of time that doesn't work? So what it looked like she was doing was she'd made, you know, those fruit rolls.
Yeah.
It looked like she made a bunch of fruit rolls and then just poured icing over the top of it.
Yeah.
And then chilled it for a little bit, but not long enough to do anything to the icing, and then tried to cut a slice of it so it was still individual rolls with icing over the top of it. And Gary a couple of times went over to her and went, Anushka, that's not looking very good. And she's like, I know what I'm doing. And then, Anushka, it doesn't look very good. And then, like, when he tasted it, he actually said to her, Anushka, I don't really like it. And she seemed to have the shits. I'm a bit worried about Anushka.
She seems a bit stressed.
She's been angry for about a week, about maybe 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And she's not responding well to feedback. And I know people are going to go, oh, Gary seemed a bit angry. Well, I kind of get a bit of a feeling, and it's not often that I'll stand up for the judges, but it feels a little bit like they've been giving her feedback and she's just not taking it. And they're kind of snapping a bit.
Yeah.
And the judges are kind of like, we're trying here. We're really trying.
We're down to the final 9, and this is the time where you need to start extending yourself. So she's come to this point where she's trying to avoid elimination. She's got a very, how can I put it, homely, humble dish, which we know, even if it's something new in MasterChef, you still, at this point, need to be presenting it in such a way that it looks like some thought about the presentation and how people are going to eat it. Like, it comes down to, this is the time when you see the people who've got a thought process going on and are trying to extend themselves. So Tessa, you know, struggles with sweets, but she still had a thought process going on. She's like, okay, I'm going to put it in a glass jar and I'm going to do it, like, layer it this way. Yeah. Same with fucking someone. All right, fuck that. Fuck that person. But look, it's my ship and I've had a few cocktails, all right? It's gotten a bit boozy now this time of day.
Wait till she gets to the karaoke bar.
Woo! yeah. Just, turn into the stripper.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, bring it on. Wait till you see the captain's table.
Kick up.
I'm Kristie, I've got to steer. Okay, I'm steering to... fuck, who's next? Who was talking about? Nicole! How did I miss Nicole?
She was getting another degree.
All right. So as mentioned previously...
I'm just at the captain's table.
We had... This is going to sound weird because it's a family holiday. And she's quite young. She said she was, 9, 10? And they've gone to China. Which I always wanted to do when I was growing up. And my friend... Oh, I can't... Yeah, okay. I'm going to tell you the anecdote anyway. So my friend Linda's grandparents, who lived down the road from us, went to China and they bought her back this really soft, cuddly panda cushion. And I was so jealous because, I'm like my grandparents, may buy me a scratchy every now and again. Wouldn't be thoughtful enough to buy me a panda cushion. Not that they'd ever go to China. They rarely left their own suburb. Except for Anzac Day. Got to go to the march. All right, so Christina, there they are in China.
Well, no,
Nicole, sorry. Fucking blondes. So Christina's in China with her family.
Nicole
is in China. Christina went to Thailand on a date. No, hold on. Tessa went to Thailand on a date. No, fuck. So many blondes, so many places to go.
Watch out for the rocks!
Steering away, just avoiding doing... I'm like that fucking Greek captain that just drove too close.
We're in Italy, we're on the Costa Concordia, we're about to go over.
Because I'm waving to my friend on the
Oh my God, it's Greenpeace, don't hit them!
So Nicole.
I'll just put the banner over the side that says we're whaling for scientific experiments.
Please do. Nicole's in China.
Don't shoot us.
Now, I'm a little worried about her ability for maths. I presume this is not her forte. I presume she's more into the humanities because she started off by saying her and her brother ate 12 Peking duck pancakes.
And what she made, by the way, wasn't Peking duck.
And they were absolutely right that it wasn't thought out well. She made... Everything was disparate. So we had the shallot pancakes, which in and of themselves, delicious.
I'm going to be controversial here. You know what it looked like she'd done?
What?
It looked like she'd gone to the shops and got a lover duck kit.
But even the lover duck kit has pancakes that are wrappable.
Yeah, they weren't wrappable. As they said, you haven't thought about how we're going to eat this at all, have you? Are you?
And
you haven't thought.
Maybe what she should have done is served it up like you're serving up pancake breakfast.
Oh my God.
You
just
duck
had an idea.
Pancake breakfast. So put your pancakes down, whack the duck on top and just
hoist in
all over the top there. Oh, just do that, Nicole, next time. Yummo. So first of all, she said 12, but when she went up to hand it to the judges, she's gone, we ate 1,000 that day. I'm like, well, what was it, Nicole? 12 or 1,000?
Slight difference.
There's 978.
Look, a lot of the time when you're dealing with China, a shipping error often happens.
988. Even my maths is shit.
A shipping error quite often happens when you're dealing with Chinese companies. I've learnt this from TV ads. Due to a shipping error, we've got 1,000 extra cars. Send them back. They're not my cars. I didn't order them.
I've ordered this beautiful green dress from Rosegal. In comes a blue safari suit, which is slightly different.
A little bit.
Yes, so who have we missed? Oh, Timbo. No, we'll go to Tesla, right? Who we just saw a brief moment of. We saw her picking some beetle leaves outside. I'm like, oh, this looks good. We found out she went to Thailand. And this was a street vendor food on a beetle leaf.
Yes.
Tim got a flashback.
Oh, God.
He's a teacher's aide, Kudos to all the teacher's aide out there helping kids along.
I'm interested with the amount of autonomy he seems to have as a teacher's aide. It's very interesting.
He runs the cooking program, which...
Again, it seems really interesting for a teacher's aide to be running the cooking program. But anyway...
Would they do that at a Montessori school or a Steiner school or something?
No,
or do you still need a teacher?
To have qualification. You still need a qualified teacher in the room.
Yeah, well, you are a qualified teacher, which is why I can run this podcast tonight. So he makes a paella, or as he likes to call it, I just call it a paella, Gary.
Whatever it wasn't actually a Spanish rice dish because it was horrible and it was really bad. And all the way along, it looked like it was going to be really bad. And it was the second dish in a row that he'd made where it looked really bad.
Now, Tim did say that he's not much for thinking outside the box, which at this type of the competition, it's not a good thing to
Especially when the first challenge was a box.
Yeah. So he makes it. He was looking for the what's it called, the crack-a-lack-and I don't know the
Crack-a-lackin'?
the Socrates down the bottom.
Yeah, he was looking for the Socrates.
He was waiting for his paella to be more philosophical and
Yeah, he wanted it to ask some of life's deep, meaningful questions.
With helping along a young up-and-comer called Plato.
Couple of young gummers called Plato and Socrates had the world at their feet.
Yes. So he was cooking that, and apparently, life doesn't get any better than two grown men listening to rice. So I can presume that Channel 10's pilot season coming up will feature Matt and Tim, two grown men listening to rice.
It's got to be better than Kinney Tonight.
Anything's better than Kitty Tonight.
So anyway, who got through to immunity and who was eliminated?
Oh, yeah, so everyone served up. Immunity. We saw Simon, Larissa and ex-Tina serve up their dishes to try and get through to immunity, and they did. So, well done. Crabs ahoy. Elimination. Tati, well that, because...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Tim with his pedestrian paella, and Anushka with her very uneventful Christmas cottage.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a worry. I was worried for Anushka. So
Yeah, it's her Christmas cottage is essentially Tiny Tim and his family did not have Scrooge show up with a goose. Like, no one went to Scrooge with the three ghosts of Christmas past, present and future, and so the Christmas ghost did not come.
Well, the first ghost turned up, saw that dessert, and went, fuck it, they got better food over the road.
We're cancelling Christmas.
There's eggnog over there.
Yeah.
Gonna have some fucking nog.
I'm going to go join the Jews. Let's go. We're just going to go celebrate Hanukkah. if they're not taking me in Kwanzaa, it is. Saturnalia. They're down there celebrating a bit of good old ancient Roman Festival of Saturn.
I'm not looking forward to my report that I'm going to have to write when we get back to port about this captain.
Look, this captain has been cruising along now. We're now 6,000...
We're now almost the full length of an episode in.
Yes, we are.
And we're up to night 2.
What? No, that's just it's cruise time. We're on cruise time. Well, luckily there's not much to this episode tonight.
We're on cruise time, everybody. We're on cruise time.
Fuck yes, cruise time.
So settle back and relax. The showgirls will be out in a minute to entertain, titillate, and surprise you.
He's here on the cruise. Ben, he's got the shirts.
Oh, he does. Ben does have a line of shirts that are particularly wonderful for cruisers. And remember, if need be, I've got the outboard motor to drag us back to port really fast. So it's all good.
So like I said, I'd organised for George to still not be here. How wonderful is that?
We're very impressed.
Yes, so I just wanted to mention, Tim did he get a special bed? Because, in that first scene...
It does seem like it, doesn't it?
After the Twinings boxes, we saw Tim in a special bed.
You mean after the cross-promotion?
Yeah, after the cross-promotion, Tim in his bed.
After the cross-pollination.
And I'm really glad to see that after our big push for, food waste not being a problem, 3 cars for 3 people again.
It's good, it's useful, it's helpful, it's fantastic.
And I'm sure off camera, Tardy hugged the banana tree.
So...
We welcome in Kristen, the terrible Tibballs.
So Kirsten Tibballs, because they called her everything. Yeah. And in the judging tonight, in the same breath, they called her Kirsten and Kristen. I believe it's Kirsten Tibballs.
That's like my mum. She read Kirsty in the baby book and called me Kristie.
Well, that went well.
She's got dyslexia.
Now I know we're now rushing towards the port, but I'm not going to rush towards the port. I'm going to take the outboard motor off and throw it away for a minute because I want to focus.
This is a ship.
Doesn't matter. Have you not noticed about the fact that how it's actually being powered?
Okay, yeah, that's right.
We've got Matt Sinclair pretending he's shoveling coal.
That's right.
So, Tibballs. So, I want to talk about the fact that we actually got, first of all, it was the anniversary on the weekend of one of the greatest moments in the history of this podcast. sad moment for MasterChef, but a great moment in the history of this podcast.
Yes.
I refer, of course, to the Huda elimination cast.
AKA Kristie was drunk at Dracula's.
AKA we left our honeymoon at Dracula's to come home and record a podcast. Now, that night,
Yeah.
Kirsten Tibballs.
It was too.
And, more importantly, it was the fucking chocolate wheel. Where they brought in one of Australia's best chocolatiers, as they said, an world-class award-winning chocolatier.
To make a fucking chocolate.
To make a fucking chocolate wheel.
And then act like a barrel girl.
Yeah, and then basically you're like, what would you like today? What I really appreciated about this challenge was they let her actually make a fucking dessert.
And it was phenomenal. I think it was great. This was a good challenge. I mean, all we can ask for in challenges like this is that they're interesting, that they've got a lot of different techniques going on, and that they're going to keep the contestants on their toes.
Now, the problem was it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
as the episode dragged on,
Yeah.
and it did drag on, we had slow motion of them walking into the fucking kitchen. What's up with that? Like, seriously.
We don't need it.
We didn't, especially when we all knew the outcome by that point, and they slow-mo'd all three of them walking in. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And they went to like 4 ad breaks in the judging. They had 3 people, 4 ad breaks. What the fuck?
This podcast episode is going to be longer than the fucking MasterChef episode without all the unnecessary bits and pieces
Exactly.
in
If
it.
you take all the unnecessary bits out, that episode would be shorter than what this is.
Yeah.
But in terms of the dessert, the problem with the dessert was the big moment they were building up to, for the drama-filled moment, was putting the top onto this apple pie, which looked fucking amazing. Gotta say it.
Which, as long as you've got your spatial,
She gave you a stencil.
understanding, okay, yeah, you had a stencil.
She gave you a stencil, and they had a bucket of fucking puree.
But they only needed 65 grams.
They had a bucket of puree, and they had a fucking stencil.
So,
Now let's talk about
all right.
the challenge.
Which you would equate to a bake-off technical.
It's a bake-off technical,
It really is, actually.
and there's a very simple lesson to be learned in a bake-off technical. Read the fucking instructions.
And the interesting thing with bake-off technicals is that a lot of times when they won't put a lot of the instructions down, it'll just say, make a caramel, make a crumble, make a anglaise. Oh, no, I don't know.
Bake a cake.
Shoe.
Yeah. But this recipe gave you every single step.
Yeah. So Tim asked the poignant question, what am I in for? What do you reckon he was in for tonight, Chris?
I'm going with being annoying. No, I thought you meant the crime. No, what he was in for was an apple pie. What he was in for was more narration. Mm-hmm. What he was in for was the question of what is more important to me, cooking or narrating.
Now, it was interesting because as we went on, like, there were so many different pieces to this, and you've all seen it. If you want a recap, go fucking watch a recap. Go read Ben Podgy's recap there. As we were going on, like, it was obvious Tati was just fucking up all over the place.
It was obvious
in
a couple
Struggle
things.
Street.
Tati was going to fuck up all over the place.
Yep.
The gantry were going to be the most pointless they've ever been.
With Derek's line of the night, do you want to say it?
Okay. Come on. Rest that pastry. How can you make something passive sound active? Come on, rest the pastry. What? Derek, why are you...
Look, he's the king of the gantry at the moment. King of the gantry!
He's not used to people being up there now. He's
Yeah.
got so used to being by himself.
Totally.
And the rest of them yelling down things like, you've got this.
Yeah.
Do it. And of course, push.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was the gantry on tonight?
Nitrous oxide, I'm presuming. Tim was also quite amazed that the recipe was very specific, as opposed to those non-specific
It's a very non-specific
recipes.
Put some form of apple in there.
Yeah, it's just...
Might be a real one.
There may be some meat in this, maybe not. Probably not. It's an apple pie. Anushka loses half the ingredients on the bench when she's like a mad woman just going around, and Kristen's like, I love your pace.
And I love that Kirsten Tibball's standing there.
That's right.
Kirsten Tibball's standing there, and she hits the button and is just covered.
It looks like an after party at MasterChef HQ.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We can only guess. Tim rolls the pastry. Yeah. The apple puree was massive. Tarty.
Now, Tim,
Yeah.
before we get to that, Tim, talking about his pie base, gave us some sage advice. Now, this is Tim talking about the pie base, and he turns around to the audience at home and his natural spot of narration and goes, I have to be very careful with this pie base. If I have holes in my pie base, my filling will just leak out.
I am very impressed with Tim's ability to prioritise narration over cooking.
You know, what I'm really impressed with about Tim is that he seems to have the capabilities of the guy on The Bachelor.
Hey, to blue.
So the guy on The Bachelor, of course, this year
Is it me?
is supposed to be smart. And in that one promo we've seen, by the way, that which doesn't entice me to watch the show.
Smart man, dumb woman. She thinks astrophysicist means
Talk about
astrologer.
star signs.
Oh, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, Tim kind of... He wouldn't feel out of place coming up to The Bachelor and asking him a question at this point in time.
What do you reckon he'd ask?
What do you reckon he'd ask? What happens if my pie base has a hole in it? Will my filling stay in there? The interesting part was he was the one worried about the pie base leaking, and Tarty's was the one that leaked everywhere.
Yeah, but Tim did a patch job, so, he just patched it up. Spack-filled up his pie and away.
Bunnings.
Yeah, where am I going? Okay, yeah. Mentioned Dad Bachelor, smart guy. I've got notes, people. That's where we are tonight. Kristie has notes. All right. Tim says no rest for the wicket.
Yeah, he did say that. We all checked it up. Everyone on Twitter at the same time went, did he say no rest for the wicket?
Yeah.
Welcome back here to the MCG. Players and umpires not quite out in the middle just yet.
Yeah,
but we've got some kids out there because, of course, there's no rest for the wicket. We'll be back in the MCG.
Anushka also got worried that her caramel was too caramelly.
There's nothing I find worse about a caramel than caramel flavour.
Yeah.
It's the hardest point of caramel.
Yeah. I meant to say this about Tim's pie. It has shrinkage.
He did have shrinkage. And I liked the way that he tried to mansplain what happened to the person whose recipe it was. But then in his voiceover admitted that he really fucked up.
Yeah.
She's like, did you push down all the rice in that to make sure that everything was packed down properly? And he's like, I thought I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Meanwhile, it's leaked outside. Come back to his voiceover. I didn't.
Just need the, what's it called? The Curb Your Enthusiasm music playing there. Larissa decided that there was a hole that needed to be filled tonight and did a time call. Very George-like there. So, good on her, getting in early, trying to push for a spot on the judging panel. Yeah. Now, we spoke about this, that the crucial point tonight was about positioning the domes. All I can say is, if you're a toddler in Australia, you've most likely had the red and blue ball with the shapes in it that you've had to practice all your life. Like,
Yeah.
well, not all your life, but, in your formative years.
I'm a bit worried about the idea that you have to practice that all your life. Like nothing but locked in a room practicing.
I am now ready for the Kirsten Tibballs challenge. Yeah. And then we had another... Oh, the George Memorial. I forgot to fucking mention this tonight. So they fucking last night, right? Gary and Matt got my hopes up by going...
Should have done a montage.
Doubling up, going 30 seconds. And then Gary's gone, well, it's a George Memorial. And I'm like, oh, really? It is? No, unfortunately. The promo for tomorrow night confirmed that it isn't. And then tonight, Kirsten, Matt and Gary all together, 30 seconds.
And, it was really interesting. When they get to the judging, it was fascinating because it was like she was a nicer, friendlier George.
Yeah, genuinely happy and sweet.
Including doing all of his dialogue at the table.
That was quite interesting. I've run out of notes. Where are my fucking notes? Oh, no. Oh, fucking...
To pull back the curtain a little bit, I take notes on either phone or sometimes on the laptop, but usually I've got all my notes in Google Documents.
Yeah.
Kristie has a very, very, very large sketch pad, which we could be using later on to play Pictionary. It's Dignity.
Hey. That's what my notes are tonight.
It's dignity.
But you know what wasn't dignity?
What wasn't?
Tim's custard.
Oh, God, no, that was not dignified.
It was resilient,
I know.
according to Matt. So Tim's the first one up to
There's
profit
one
his
thing
pie.
I always check is the resiliency level of my custard.
Yes. Now, I didn't notice if he slow-mowed. I don't think he did.
No, they didn't
But
bother to slow-mo him. They just got him in there. It was
Just
like,
got
we
him-
know what's happening with you.
He's fine. They ate it. They loved it. Gary polished off his pie, and away we went with the resilient custard. Anushka, slow-mo walking. Well, she comes up, and they were like, how good's her base? But the top's a bit shit.
I wish they'd said it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, how good's her base?
The top's a bit shit. Just Kirsten Tibballs getting a bogan on.
Oh, what's it gonna be?
What's it going to be? It's going to be a shit top. Now, Tardy also had a slow-mo walk. Now, she also had a shit top.
Look,
But she had a shit caramel.
They tried to make. They tried
Her
to
caramel
make it,
wasn't caramelly
well, forget
enough.
the idea about the caramel not being caramelly enough. She was also the only one that didn't bother to use the fucking spray gun. So they all had to go into the spray booth and they had to spray the top with chocolate.
Yeah.
And the other two went in there and did it. I mean, Tim, I'm pretty sure, was aiming at the camera, which was behind a bit of perspex, but still. But then Tardy's like, I don't have time to do that. And so she didn't. So the others looked like they had... Look, on camera, to be honest with you, it looked like packed in... You know the old bacon bits you can buy in a jar?
Yes.
It looked like packed in, melted down bacon bits. That's what the crumb looked like.
Because it had a little bit of red.
It did. There was
Food
a bit of a
colouring
red
popped in,
tinge.
which is interesting.
But Tarty's just looked horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Now, I'm imagining that after, like, everything's finished and the spray guns are just sitting there, Derek ducked down for a bit of a recreation of Zoolander.
I'm assuming so.
Jitterbug. A jitterbug.
It was nice, though. It didn't involve fuel this time. It was great.
I hope you got Alexander Skarsgård in. just saying. Just to recreate that. Right.
But, look, they tried to build in the drama.
Yeah.
But Tarty had, like, a million things wrong with hers.
And she just wasn't keeping up, so...
They said Anushka burned hers a little bit, Tarty burned hers a little bit more.
Because it was all, oh, no, she didn't use the turbo oven. Oh, no.
No, she didn't use the turbo oven. Anushka didn't use the turbo oven, she used the normal oven. And then went, oh, shit, I was supposed to use the turbo oven. Tarty packed it in really tightly and then was like, I'm trying to cut it, but it's just not working. And then they're like, did you? Oh. And then, but every time we looked at Tarty, there was another problem. The caramel was being overdone.
But she's loved at certain parties where packing something tightly is
Helps.
well appreciated.
But what the problem was overall with poor Tarty was that every time she turned around, she lurched into another disaster. And all night, all you kept on hearing from Tarty was, I'm in trouble.
I just turned around for a second and my caramel...
So drink a lot, because Tarty kept on turning around for just a second.
So what I loved about Tarty is that we come to the end of it, she's being farewelled, oh, sorry, your top and your caramel was shit. And she's gone, I get to go home and see my dog.
Look, priorities.
Well, she saw her family last week, so I presume,
Priorities.
And her husband's packed up the banana tree. So.
Yeah, as I said, if she didn't put that banana tree, like, I wanted the last shot. Everyone gets out, walks into the car, and, like, looks longingly at Masterchef. I wanted her to run past the car, go out, get a shovel, and just dig up the tree.
The banana tree.
So, and I wanted the last shot to be her looking whimsically at the building with the banana tree out the other window. Or her husband on the Vespa with the tree over his shoulder.
Yes.
Like, I wanted to see that more than anything else.
Or her and her husband in the four-wheel drive, like hand on the roof,
just
holding
holding
the
on
banana.
there. So
she's working at the Proserpina Bakery now.
She is. So
in Sassafras.
Sassafras. So I'll just use the tug to bring this boat into port.
Just give me a second to talk about Proserpina.
I'm going to let you do that. Go.
Okay.
I'll get the ship ready.
That's the Roman name for Persephone, who's one of my favourite goddesses. Just saying. So well done, Tarty.
All right. Rope coming in. Catch it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this cruise.
So while the captain finishes just getting ready to correct and wave goodbye to her passengers, I'll just steer us back into port with the tugboat.
Okay.
So on the feed, make sure you go and check out the podcast that we did with Jess the other day. Absolute awesome chat.
She was having a good time on the cruise too. She was with Maggie Beer and Rick Stein.
She is such an awesome person, and it was It was a really good, fun chat. We talked about a lot of things. Her love of cheese larceny, for example, came up. That was good.
If you want a mate who'll still steal some cheese with you, she's your woman.
And again, the episode title came from that, and the idea that everyone really needs a friend like Jess. And there was a really good chat there. Also, I might have targeted a few other people who might be listening to the show, and especially mentioning panna cottas. Looking at you, Ben. Anyway, so please make sure you go and listen to that Jess episode. It is really good value. Also, thank you to everyone. It's once again been another record-setting month in terms of downloads. Really appreciate it. We've had some amazingly good numbers.
Every single one of you mean a lot to me, and I'll completely forget I said that as I go to bed. But, at this point in time, I appreciate each and every one of you.
She does indeed, and as do I. So we both appreciate you. So I will now hand over to our temporary captain for the evening, who will now steer us back into port and lovingly let you all off the ship with your wrist bracelets and a $15 voucher for the bar for the next cruise.
Ladies, gentlemen, and other dignified guests, I just want to thank you for coming aboard the SS Masterchef Washing Up Extravaganza Fun Boat, where I hope you found love, laughter, and drunkenness. Unless you don't drink, in which case I hope you just found the other two. Please make sure that you board, alight the vessel safely, taking all of your valuables with you. I'm looking at you, Joe Kendry. There's some shit that went down in the high seas that we won't be talking about. And Brandon Black, I know you were helping her.
Everybody have your crap sticks.
Yes. Please take your complimentary crap sticks. It has been a pleasure. It has been my honour to be your captain this evening. I truly hope that we can do this again. If not, I will commit mutiny at one point and wrangle the vessel away, and we can again
what else is new?
Enjoy crap sticks on the high seas.
What else is new? Until Thursday night.
Yes.
I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
We will catch you all then.
The Masterchef boat. It's the washing up on the seas with love and people and celebrities. The washing up boat.
Felching.